Hey there, and welcome. Today we are going to master an English phrase that is absolutely key to expressing what you really want and how to do it politely and clearly. So let's jump right in. You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. Someone suggests the plan, and inside you're just thinking, I'd much prefer to do something else. But how do you actually say that without sounding rude? Well, guess what? There is a perfect tool for exactly that situation. We are going to unlock the phrase would rather. And I promise, by the end of this, you are going to be using it like you've known it your whole life. Okay, so let's get into it. First up, we're just going to introduce this core tool and talk about what it's all about. And just so you know, all the fantastic info we're covering today comes straight from this wonderful grammar guide, which honestly lays everything out just perfectly for us. So what even is would rather? Well, at its core, it's super simple. It's just a phrase you use when you want to talk about your preference. It's your way of saying, I like this option more than that option. That's it. Now, let's get down to the nuts and bolts. How do you actually build a sentence with this thing? You're going to see it's surprisingly easy. Okay, take a look here. The structure is pretty much always the same. You start with the subject, add would rather, and then you follow it with the verb in its simplest form. No to, no ing. If you're comparing two things, you just add than and the second simple verb. See that? Go and study. Simple. That's the secret right there. And here it is in the wild. This is a classic example from our source material. I would rather go to a movie tonight than study grammar. It paints a really clear picture, a choice between two very different activities. Okay, pro tip time. If you really want to sound more natural, like a native speaker, you've got to use contractions. Almost nobody says I would. We shorten it to I'd. So I'd rather go to a movie just flows so much better. Give it a try. Awesome, you have totally got the basics down. So now let's level up. We're going to expand your toolkit so you can talk about preferences not just now, but in the past and present too. But wait a second, you might be wondering, what if the thing you have a preference about has already happened? Like a regret or just wishing something had gone differently. You can't use that same simple formula. And here's where it gets really interesting. The rule shifts a little bit. For the past, the formula is would rather have plus the past participle of the verb. So it becomes I'd rather have gone. It's this perfect way to express a wish that the past had turned out differently. Okay, let's try another scenario. Imagine you're stuck in a really boring meeting, but in your head, you're dreaming of being literally anywhere else right now. How do you talk about that? For that, you need the progressive form. The structure here is would rather be plus your verb with an ing at the end. For example, I'd rather be lying on a beach. It just perfectly captures that feeling of wishing you were in the middle of a different activity this very second. All right, this next one is a lifesaver. Seriously, sometimes your preference isn't really for something else. It's just against doing one particular thing. This is how you use would rather to say no, but, nicely. So the key here is unbelievably simple. You just pop the word not right after would rather. Look at this example. Someone asks an awkward question. Instead of a blunt, I won't tell you, the phrase, I'd rather not tell you is just so much softer, so much more polite. It is an amazing tool. Okay, enough with the rules and theory. The best way to learn this stuff is to actually do it. So let's put this into practice and try a few examples together. What do you say? All right, first one is for you. Give it some thought. If you had the choice right now, Paris, Cairo, or Buenos Aires, go ahead, pick one. So you might say something like this. See how it uses our basic formula? I'd rather go, and then it gives a reason. That's a great little tip. Adding a because makes your preference sound way more interesting. Okay, next up, let's try out that progressive form. Think about right now, this very minute. What would you rather be doing? Playing soccer, shopping, or maybe hanging out with a pet? And for our last little practice round, let's use the past form. This is a big one. Would you rather have been born in a totally different time? Think about how you would answer that one. So let's wrap all this up with a quick review. Think of this as your personal cheat sheet. For a basic choice, I'd rather go than stay. For something in the past, I'd rather have gone. And for a polite no, I'd rather not go. That's the core of it right there. And just like that, you've done it. You've just added this powerful, really flexible, and super polite tool to your English-speaking toolbox. Now you can say what you truly prefer, clearly and with confidence. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Use what you just learned. Don't just think about it, try to actually say it out loud. What would you really rather be doing right now? Thanks so much for joining me.